production of Raycom Sports.
Just 6 days remain in the 2014 ACC regular season. Tonight, Ryan Brown leads the Miami Hurricanes into Little John Coliseum to face KJ McDaniels and the Clemson Tigers on the ACC Network. We welcome you to Little John Coliseum as the Tigers get set to kick off the final week of the regular season, taking on the Miami Hurricanes. That's our matchup tonight on the ACC Network, the Canes and the Tigers from Little John. Good evening, everybody. Bob Rathman, Mike Jaminski, a pleasure to have you with us tonight. Mike, two teams that enjoyed offensive explosions over the weekend and a couple of young players in our league that are having fantastic years.
Well, 85 against NC State, and Ryan Brown a big part of that, and he's been terrific. The sixth man last year, he has had to step up, become a primary scorer. He had 20 points in that game, 7 of 13, 5 rebounds.
The Food Line lineups for the Canes. Joining Ryan Brown will be Adams, LeCompte, Swope, and Jakiri. And for the Clemson Tigers, KJ McDaniels was all-world here against the Terps.
Well, he's having a first-team type of year, and the numbers just staggering in that game. Double overtime, 26 points, 14 rebounds, and he leads the league in blocks at 6'6".
The Food Line starters for Clemson: Rod Hall, Harrison, Blossingame, and Noko. It's the only match of the regular season between these two teams. Miami and Clemson both come in having won 3 of their last 4. They'll decide things at Little John. Coming up next, the tip on the ACC Network after this.
Basketball is being brought to you by ACC Basketball is being brought to you by AT&T, exclusive wireless provider of the ACC. By your Carolina Ford dealers. By Ruby Tuesday, official corporate champion of the ACC. By Food Line, official supermarket of the ACC. And by Hyundai.
Tiger Town, Clemson, South Carolina, Little John Coliseum for the Canes and the Tigers. Here's a look at our 4 keys to the game.
Well, Bobby, look at Miami. It's that 70 show. In their 6 wins, they've scored 70 points in the ACC. 10 losses, only 52. And for Clemson, is there a Tiger left in the tank? Double overtime on Sunday. Brad Brownell very concerned about their legs.
Roger Ayers, Tony Green, and Terry Weimer are the officials. Roger tosses it up, and Clemson has the game's initial possession. Tigers have a shot at a 20-win regular season, 18 up. Coming into this one, 9-7 in the ACC. This game in Pittsburgh here over the weekend. Rod Hall on the drive.
Expect a lot of zone out of Miami, a lot of junk defenses, box and 1, diamond or triangle and 2, straight zone. And a lot of that will be directed at KJ McDaniel. He's the only double-figure scorer for Clemson.
Canes 4-4 on the road in the conference. Ryan Brown, the focal point of Clemson's defensive alignment tonight. Shot clock at 6. LeCompte. Adams scoop to the hoop for 2.
Let's drive that time inside and talked about it. An offensive explosion against NC State. 85 points in that game.
And a remarkable 59% field goal percentage. 68% in the second half. Unheard of figures this year for Miami. Noko in the paint. Nails it.
I didn't know that was in his shooting range, and they're trying to get people near the free throw line against that zone. Good start for Noko, but his numbers really improved from last year, and just not a lot of playing time for him then, but he's seen a lot of court time this year.
Brown playing with a world of confidence.
And, you know, it's one thing like last year as a 6th man, and we knew he was a capable 20-point scorer, but he is at the top of every scouting report now for Miami, and it's a hard thing to make that jump, but he's become a big-time scorer.
Harrison, now Rod Hall. McDaniels works off the screen. Hall fouled on the shot.
I've always said you want to try to make players beat you with their weak hand, but that was a nice little floater. He got a good pick and roll action up high and was able to get in the lane with that right hand.
Jacari with the foul, his first. And this will send Rod Hall to the free throw line for the Tigers. 76.4% at the stripe, and you see his numbers here over the weekend against the Terrapins. That free throw mark for Hall represents a career best, and the junior from Augusta, Georgia, has really had a fine offensive season.
Really takes care of the basketball, makes good decisions. And, you know, Brad Brownell trusts him implicitly. He's going to be out on the floor 32 to 35 minutes a night.
And plays defense without fouling. He's committed only 21 personal fouls the entire season. Amazing for a guy at the point. Adams now inside. Jacari drops it in.
Well, and it was funny. Jim Larinaga, before the year started, said we expect big things from him. Now, I didn't get it initially, but he has really improved over the last 10 games.
McDaniels, the turnaround. KJ 5th in the league in scoring at 17.1. Leads the league in blocks, as Mike mentioned earlier. He's 6th in field goal percentage.
And that's the thing that's made the jump. He's becoming a much better shooter. Maybe not so much from range from 3, but the mid-range game has improved.
Now the freshman, Anu LeCompte. And that's a travel. Eric Swope took an extra step. Pretty good drive-by defense for the Tigers.
Well, Miami has been better, and having won 4 of 6, and Swope a big part of that coming into the starting lineup.
There's Brad Brownell, the head coach of the Tigers. Both he and Jim Larinaga in their 3rd year at their respective schools.
They saw each other a lot when they were both in the Colonial.
Yes.
Brad at UNC Wilmington, and Jim Larinaga, George Mason, of course.
Noko hooks it home. Andrew Noko coming off 11 against the Terps Sunday.
Quick points. I mean, he's only averaging 6 points on the year, but has hit his first 2 shots from the floor.
Brown's spinner from the lane. Nice tip in. Getting up, Eric Swope. His athleticism paying off.
Yeah, he's a hard player to describe. He's got the body of a power forward, but the height of a small forward. Really worked on his inside game and finishing at the rim over the summer.
Lossing game. McDaniels, when he put it on the deck, that meant trouble. And the Canes take it away. Adams waits. On the come. He had 15 against the Wolfpack with 3 assists on Saturday. Adams got to the hole again. Here is Adams, his second drive.
This was an issue up at Wake Forest, and it was the bigs who were doing a lot of work. But right now, early, Miami off the dribble getting to the rim.
Canes by 2 as McDaniels operates against Adams. Ball saving it is Harrison. Shot clock at 9. Lossing game to the rack. Rebound Miami. Corralled by Jakiri. Canes have scored 8 of their 10 in the paint.
Neither of these teams built around the 3, so it's not, that will not be a big part of this game. If it is, it'll be an oddity.
Ryan Brown putting it up off this time. Tigers rebound. Rod Hall has it. Harrison. They go high. Dunk for KJ McDaniels. Beautiful lob.
The back of that zone, Bob just losing complete track of where he is, and that was a great play over the top. And those are the ones you want to minimize here because they really get the crowd going.
Brown again on the penetration, got slammed to the floor, made the basket, and he'll be on the line when we come back. Ryan Brown at his aggressive best. There's the lob to KJ. A timeout at Little John. 13:41 first half. Miami 12-10. Mr. Jaminski. Let's take a look at the AT&T Fast Analysis.
Sounds good, Mr. Rathman. And in a variety of ways you can do it. You can attack in the middle. Noko providing a long jump shot that time. Or you can throw over the top of it. And when you have a guy like McDaniels who will go up and finish, certainly helps. But they are going to see a multitude of different defenses. It's going to be zone. There are going to be different types of zone. They're going to sprinkle in some man. So Clemson's going to have to be very aware on every possession of what they're dealing with.
Mike, for a young player like KJ McDaniels, who now has exploded on the scene as a big-time ACC scorer, and you mentioned he's at the top of everybody's scouting report now, what changes must he make in this late season to adjust to that focus?
Well, I think you just have to, you up your game. You have to, you score in a variety of ways, add a little wrinkle to what you're doing. We talked about how he's improved his range on his jump shot. So any little thing you can do. I mean, obviously you're going to go to your strengths, and he wants to get out in the open floor and run and finish at the rim.
Ryan Brown averaging 15 a game for the Canes. 2 free throws, or 1 free throw to come. And it pops out, but the Canes get the rebound, and there's Eric Swope again, making his presence felt on the glass.
Well, that was the thing that he always had. He was an energy player, and he would give you that off the bench. And but Frank Haith's recruit, I'm not sure that Jim Larinaga had a feel for his game and how to use him, but he has really given them a nice boost.
12-10 Miami. Shot clock again is short. Oh, an athletic tip there by Brown, but or rather by Reed. And the ball now goes to Clemson on the drive. Here's a block, and pulling it out of the air was Donovan Kirk.
Jordan Roper trying to get something going, and there will not be a steady diet of it, but Clemson will run selectively.
Swope on the reverse.
Well, that's exactly what I'm talking about. That's the type of play last year that he would have trouble finishing. And right now, Miami is getting anything they want in the paint.
It has been their intent to go inside. Georgia Tech continues to stun Syracuse at the Dome. Gators over in Columbia with a double-digit lead on the Gamecocks. How about that flip with the left hand? KJ McDaniels.
As I said, you got to make choices with great players, and if they beat you with their offhand, so be it. And I thought it was a little bit of a force, but he made a nice shot.
Ball draws Ryan Brown. Goes away from the screen and gets a lay-in.
Hall is a very solid defender. And I think that's an element you talk about, guys expanding their game off the dribble for Ryan Brown, too.
McDaniel in and out with the 3.
You know, his last 5 games, 3 of 23 from 3. You know, if I'm a defender and KJ McDaniels wants to shoot a 3, I'll let him do that all night long on me.
And speaking of 3s, how about Davon Reed? He was just 4 for his last 17 outside the arc. Nails this one to make it 19-12 Miami.
And really struggling, so they're getting some good offensive lift.
A turnover into the waiting arms of Eric Swope. Canes on a 9-2 spurt. Reed. Fly swat rejection by McDaniels. Bounce ahead to Hall to the rim. A lot of contact.
No foul, just getting tangled up. They want to make sure everybody's okay. But that's an idea of what KJ McDaniels does for this team. Cleans up mistakes and starts breaks.
There's the rejection. And a beautiful bounce pass to Rod Hall. Tigers trail it by 5. An incredible season for the Cavs. They've clinched the top spot. In fact, the top 4 are set. Syracuse, North Carolina, and Duke will be seeded based on what happens this week. And then you've got that bunch in the middle.
And Pitt is a little bit of the surprise. They've come back. They've lost 4 of 6. Clemson kind of right there. I think that group in the middle all really need to finish the season strong with these last 2 and then make a pretty big statement in the ACC tournament.
Clemson with wins this week, tonight against Miami, this weekend against Pitt, will clinch number 5 in the tournament seeding. They have to win both games. They get the tiebreaker on Pitt.
But the thing that holds their resume back a little bit is their strength of schedule. So that's why success in the tournament against some of the better teams is going to be a big key.
Miami with a 5-point lead. They have done a lot of damage in the lane in this first half. They go outside this time without missing.
Well, they were just getting to the rim that Clemson going away from the man-to-man. Clemson playing zone in that possession.
Donovan Kirk with the foul. And here comes Ryan Brown back in. And Comp to the bench.
What Clemson does, and a lot of teams do it, they'll expand their lineup in the first half, try to get a feel for somebody offensively who's got it going, and then second, probably 8 or 9 guys, second half maybe pare that down to 6 or 7.
Halfway through the first half, Miami leading it by 5. Harrison. McDaniels is there to follow.
Yeah, good finish. And Harrison is the group of Roper and Fowler, and that's really stepped up over his last 4, averaging over double figures. Really been a nice player for him.
He has started the last 5 games, averaging 12.2 over that stretch, with an effective field goal percentage of 58. Brown's leaner. McDaniels clearing to Hall.
2 possessions, 2 missed shots with that zone for Clemson.
From the wing, Jumbo. And the rebound comes to Kirk.
And, he will take that shot. But 7 of 34 on the year, and when your offense isn't working well, and an early long 3 like that may not be the best decision.
Below the Mendoza line.
That's correct.
19-16.
Just once in my life, I would like to see the Mendoza line.
Adams. Kirk. And the rebound to Clemson. I swear I thought that ball was goaltended.
Yeah, I thought it was tipped on the way down as well. Good call.
McDaniels. Out of bounds to Miami. Hey fans, check out ACC Fan Fest at the tournament. Located just outside the Greensboro Coliseum's main entrance. Enjoy live entertainment, games, giveaways, mascots, and former player appearances. Fun for the entire family, and it's all for free. And nothing beats free. Fan Fest is open 2 hours prior to each tournament session, so don't miss out on all the fun in Greensboro.
My 3 favorite words: comp, comp, comp. Have you been a free throw taken in this game so far?
Yeah, we had the 2 by Hall, and we had the miss by Brown. Clemson running off the turnover. Harrison hammered.
We'll have a couple more.
The crowd didn't like that at all. And Ryan Brown sure got his money's worth on that one.
I think they may. Well, it doesn't look like he's trying to make a play on the ball. They may go look at it to see if they want to make it a flagrant.
The first on Ryan Brown. So the officials over to check the monitor in a 19-16 game.
Maybe close.
I would say no if I had to vote.
I would agree. That was my first reaction, was that he was trying to make a play on the ball, on the block.
Hard foul, to be sure, but flagrant, I don't think so. But the opinion that matters Gentlemen in the striped shirts.
Well, and it's Terry Weimer and Roger Ayers were the ones who were looking at it. Now they really didn't. They couldn't come to a conclusion, so they asked Tony Green to come over.
And Ryan Brown, he's never fouled out of a game in his career, so not a guy that is prone to fouling and making a lot of plays that are uncharacteristically bad in nature.
But those are the ones too that I think that you can get hurt on as well. With Harrison probably felt like he had a clean dunk, and Brown came out of nowhere on that play. Yeah, we're going to switch it up. Yeah, they're going to make it a flagrant one. So it's just 2 shots in possession.
And Ryan Brown trying to get an explanation from Roger Ayers. I'm sure Jim Larinaga wants one too. So DeMarcus Harrison steps up to the foul line. Excellent job at the line this year. 85%. You know you're a good free throw shooter, Mike, when you can beat the broadcaster's jinx.
That's overcoming a lot.
Makes it a 19-18 game. So changes.
Yeah, Roger Ayers coming over and clarifying that. They switched it to the flagrant one because there was too much contact, and it was right on his right arm. I think if he had gotten any piece of the basketball, that just would have been a foul. That was probably the difference.
Out of the corner, Jukwa plays to Filer. Harrison from the wing. So there is DeMarcus Harrison's first field goal tonight. It's a 3-pointer to give Clemson the lead, 21-19.
And how many times, Bobby, you see that? I mean, he was going to have a dunk on that play, but he gets to the free throw line, finds the little rhythm in his jump shot, and that gets him going with the 3.
Clemson has scored 9 straight. Canes, everything has changed once Clemson went to that zone.
Yeah, they've really bogged down offensively.
Short clock again. LeCompte has to hurry, gives it up. Adams at the buzzer, no. Rebound, Miami. And it's going to be Clemson.
Yeah, they're letting a lot go inside. Very physical with the bigs.
Harrison. And the rebound comes to Darius Adams. Starts the break. Can they get it in transition? Adams throws it over the rim, and we got a foul. We have a timeout with 6:40 remaining in the first half. Forging a 2-point lead. ACC Network, an exclusive production of Raycom Sports. Ruby Tuesday takes us around the ACC to check in on conference action. I do not like to use the word upset when it comes to conference play, but that one qualifies if it holds. Georgia Tech by 9 to the Carrier Dome.
Well, you know, Bob, the thing that goes after that undefeated start, that Syracuse has gone a little wobbly.
Oh, I guess so.
They've lost 3 of their last 4. In their last 7 games, they've not scored over 60 points. So, you know, their inability to put the ball in the basket is getting a little overlooked right here. I don't know if they're playing like a #1 seed nationally at this point.
Last foul was on Blossingame. And Garius Adams heads to the free throw line. 67% shooter at that stripe, averaging a career best 10.1 points per game. Not only is Miami gone cold from the field, they started 9 of 12, but they've missed their last 6. Now they can't get anything going at the foul line. They're 0 for 2 tonight. Make it 0 for 3.
It's amazing how coaches who normally would never have played zone in the past have really found some success with it. And Brad Brownell making that switch in this game has caused Miami all sorts of problems.
Clemson has done a great job this year confounding the experts. They were picked 14th in the preseason.
This is actually a triangle and 2 right now, with Harrison and McDaniels getting the 2 man-to-man assignment. Late clock going to a straight man now.
Hall. And that defense paid off. They took the 2 shooters out, and Hall missed a long one. Now Miami turns its attention to its offense and trying to put the ball in the hole. Spinner off the glass, no good by Swope.
Points in the paint drying up for Miami as well. No second chance opportunities.
Harrison. Now Blossingame. Back out to Rod Hall. Shot clock at 18. Harrison stripped. Will have 13 seconds to work with. Haviland and the ACC Network are giving you a chance to pick this year's All-ACC men's basketball first and second teams. Don't miss your chance to cast votes for your favorite players at theacc.com/fanvote. And enter for your chance to win a VIP trip to the ACC tournament. Compliments of Haviland.
You know what? Your regular season champion may not have a man on the first team in Virginia.
Isn't that crazy? Noko laying it in.
Yeah, they had everybody above the free throw line that time. Good spacing. No way the defense could get into help there. Noko giving him a nice lift offensively.
6 minutes without a bucket for the Canes.
They were on pace at the 10-minute mark to score 90 points in this game. They had 19 then. They've been stuck there.
This one will drop in. Garius Adams. His 3rd field goal.
Interesting. They put the ball in his hands and moved LeCompte off the ball, let him score a little bit. He had 15, as you talked about, up against North Carolina State. Nice scoring off the bench. He gets to start tonight.
Noko screens. Hall has to back it out. And a push. On the inside by Jacuri. That would be his 2nd. And if you followed Miami all year, you know that Jacuri is guilty of being in foul trouble for the Kings.
Well, it's nice to see a young man grow like that with Noko, that averaging 6 points, 6 rebounds. I don't know last year that they would have thrown him the ball directly in the low post and let him do something with it. You know, this year they trust him a lot more.
McDaniels against Ryan Brown. Ball driving, floating, hitting.
That's where he's at his most dangerous, getting into the lane, making plays. He can shoot that little floater. Normally likes to go right, but got to his left that time and finished.
get it back into the paint, and Swope drops it in. Very patient, good execution on the offensive end.
6 points for him, 3 of 4 shooting.
McDaniels. And it's out to Miami. And we have a timeout. 3:04 remaining in our first half. Rod Hall with the floater. Clemson by 2. The 2014 ACC Men's Basketball Tournament opening day is presented by Food Lion. March the 12th, catch a triple header of basketball, a performance by country music artist Scotty McCreery, former player appearances, and much more. Visit theacc.com today to learn more and get your tickets for opening day presented by Food Lion. This, the Swiss Army knife of the ACC, KJ McDaniel.
Well, Bob, we talked about the fact his three-point shooting a little dodgy, but everything else is rock solid. He's improved his range. Like it when he gets into the lane like that. He can finish at the rim, and then very good on the offensive glass as well, and also an 84% free throw shooter.
A junior out of Birmingham, Alabama, Central Park Christian High School, and has just made tremendous strides under head coach Brad Brownell and his staff. 25-23. Again, the Canes getting into the paint, but this shot is short by Swope. And Noko with the clearing rebound. McDaniels had a pretty decent look from the wing. Now they back it out to Rod Hall. 2.5 to go first half. And a steal.
Unforced error. They ran 2 screens for Hall that time, and he just kicked it off his shoe.
Darius Adams to Ryan Brown. Ryan has scored 4 points in this first half. Protecting, scooping, hitting. Darius Adams. He has done that a couple of times, Mike.
Well, it's back to the man-to-man, and against the man, Miami has been able to do things off the dribble.
25 aside. Hall catch and shoot 3. Davon Reed handing it over to Darius Adams, and here come the Canes with a chance to get the lead back. rejection by Noko. Daniels had it knocked out of his hands. Now Blossingame to the hoop.
Pretty nice recovery. I mean, it looked like that possession was dead in the water, going nowhere. Almost a couple of turnovers.
First hoop for Blossingame. 27-25 Tigers. Timeout, Miami. 30-second timeout here for the Canes. And we will step aside. We'll be back after this message from the Atlantic Coast Conference. Today's coverage of ACC basketball is being broadcast on AFM, the American Forces Network. We'd like to welcome the nearly 1 million men and women of the U.S. Armed Forces stationed around the globe in 175 countries and on the high seas. We're so proud to have you with us and hope that you are enjoying the broadcast. We all say thank you. 59.2 in the half. Clemson by a deuce. And Blossingame getting that first hoop to get his night going.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see if Jim Larry goes for a quick hitter here. 2-for-1 opportunity.
And a terrific play. The lob to Eric Swope for the jam.
That was a great back screen. What a play. I love to watch how teams execute coming out of a timeout, and that was run perfectly. Now, as I said, they'll get 11 seconds and they'll get the last shot of the half.
Harrison looking for KJ. They reverse it to Hall. 6 to shoot. Backdoor cut. Harrison, and they throw it away.
You see that just that little brush gives him enough room, and I think Eric Swope is trying to solidify his position in the starting lineup. He's been terrific this first 20.
6 seconds. 5. Ryan Brown deflected. Canes get it. Too late for Adams. It came after the buzzer sounded. Coming up on the Hardy's halftime report, we'll have stats, highlights, and analysis of the first half, along with a preview of our third Kings of the Court show, where we will tell you the story of the great David Thompson. All that and more on the Hardy's halftime report. It's halftime at Little John. And we're right where we started, all even. Miami 27, Clemson 27.
ACC basketball is being brought to you by Ruby Tuesday, official corporate champion of the ACC. And by Avalon, official motor oil of the ACC.
People once thought bigger meant stronger. Then a man weighing 135 pounds destroyed that notion, proving that might can be light. Defying convention is also the Mazda way, and why the all-new Mazda 3 was created with Skyactiv technology, so it's lighter yet stronger and more nimble, with an engine that punches above its weight. This is the all-new Mazda 3. What do you drive?
Welcome to the Mazda Halftime Report.
Welcome inside our ESPN studios. I'm Andy Katz along with Seth Greenberg. It's the last week of the regular season, and at the top of the American Conference, it is tight. The seedings for next week's tournament in Memphis will be determined in the next few days. And on Wednesday night, Louisville is at SMU. The Mustangs still with a shot to win the conference. How do you like their chances to knock off Louisville at home?
Is there a coach in the country that's done a better job with their basketball team and their basketball program than Larry Brown? The excitement he's created in Dallas is second to none in the American Conference. Have some concerns about Louisville right now. Played at a high level for 36 minutes the other day at Memphis. But then the last 4 minutes, they really struggled managing the game, getting stops, and getting the ball to Montrezl Harrell. And then they have some guys that need to step up. When you think about Chris Jones and Wayne Blackshear, they need more out of those two guys if they're going to make a deep run in the American and a deep run in the NCAA tournament.
SMU does hold a season sweep over UConn, so that's why more than likely they will get that 3 seed over the Huskies if they're competing in that 3-4 slot. All right, Duke is at Wake Forest. Another big week for Duke. They are at Wake Forest, and they host North Carolina on Saturday. Still trying to jockey for seeding at the top of the ACC. So for Duke going into Winston-Salem, Wake Forest has struggled now, home or road. How do you look at this as sort of a tune-up before the Carolina game?
I like the way Duke is playing. Jabari Parker, I talk about the 2.0 version. They unplugged him, they rebooted him, they downloaded the 2.0 version, and he's playing at a high level. Just Duke in general, they've really improved defensively. They're doing a much better job defending ball screens. They do a better job of keeping the ball out of the lane. And a guy no one talks about that I think has made a difference is Marshall Plumlee. Marshall Plumlee is kind of like an Energizer bunny. A big physical body, gets to the offensive glass. He's got a little nasty in him and gives that front court some toughness.
In the Big Ten, Purdue is at Wisconsin, and the Badgers are now finally learning how to finish games. I mean, they're playing the way they did at the beginning of the season. Now here toward the end, they finish off Penn State, hold them off on the road. What do you think the biggest difference is for the Badgers in their ability to win these games in late possessions?
They've got 3 terrific guards, 3 point guards at the end of the game that can make a play. But I think the difference in their team in general is that Bo Ryan's figured out a substitution pattern up front. Nigel Hayes gives him great minutes off the bench. He kind of has a great way to get angles to the basket, keep balls alive, get to the offensive glass. Sam Decker's been playing at a high level. His ability to shoot the ball, also put it on the floor, and then at the end of games, Ben Brust, he's a winning player. He's got a toughness about him. He's not afraid to take and make big shots. And they've done a nice job of simplifying what they do at the end of games. Coming off that high ball screen action, getting the ball reversed, and getting a good shot. They did a terrific job in the last 4 minutes of the games.
All right, let's go out to the Pac-12. Kind of interesting here where Arizona wrapped up the Pac-12 regular season title on Sunday over Stanford. They're going to be a number 1 seed. They're the number 1 seed, obviously, in the Pac-12 tournament next week in Las Vegas. And now they go to Oregon State on Wednesday and then on the weekend against Oregon. So if you're Sean Miller, how are you handling this final week when you've wrapped up everything? Nothing else is in doubt in terms of your number 1 seed in the Pac-12 and a number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament.
It's all about momentum right now. Sean Miller, he's figured out the formula without Brandon Ashley to win basketball games. Gabe York the other day, he comes in, knocks down 3 threes as a starter, bringing Rondé Hollis-Jefferson off the bench where he can sub in multiple positions. This team right now is developing a great chemistry offensively and defensively. They're hard to score against, and offensively, Nick Johnson, he is playing as like a Pac-12 Player of the Year. T.J. McConnell, when you have an elite backcourt. Right now, the biggest thing for Sean Miller is to continue that momentum, continue to play well, kind of tinker with his substitution pattern to keep the chemistry right.
Let's stay out west with a team that's got a very difficult week. On Wednesday night, San Diego State is at UNLV, and then on the weekend, they're going to host New Mexico in a showdown for the Mountain West Conference title. So the Aztecs, how do you think they approach this week where they've got to go to Vegas, very difficult game, and then on the weekend host the Lobos?
I don't think it's who they play and where they play. San Diego State's game is defined by their defensive intensity, their ability to rebound the basketball. Xavier Thames, when you're going and playing a tough stretch of games, when you're going on the road to a place like the Thomas and Mack, or you have to defend home court against a team as hot as New Mexico, you need guard play. And Xavier Thames right now is playing at an elite level. He's a play starter, a playmaker. He can score it off the bounce. And then up front, Josh Davis, he's got to rebound the ball. They've got to get back to who they are. They're a physical defensive team that rebounds the basketball. And those two things do travel.
Let me push back a little on this last game here, though, with Vegas. You know, what kind of matchup difficulties could Vegas present for San Diego State in this game?
Well, Vegas' size and length, their ability to protect the front of the rim, Birch's ability to control the paint, that's going to be an issue. Look for San Diego State to run a lot of high ball screen, bring Thames off of those ball screens, and then Josh Davis to use his quickness, maybe getting the ball at the foul line area. Winston Shepard away from the basket where they can rip it and attack. But San Diego State's game is defined not offensively, it's defined defensively. It's defined with their ability to rebound the basketball, and they're one of the most physically mature teams in the country. I think they take care of business at UNLV and set up a huge game against New Mexico.
All right, so the teams that we highlighted in that segment, they're all going to the NCAA tournament. Now it's worrying about seeding. When we come back, we're going to look at some bubble teams with some key games on Wednesday night. Stay right here.
Sure, it's great to have you back on board, Mark.
It's great to be back. Hey, my old notebook.
Let me see that.
You don't want to look at that. That's boring.
It's draft notes.
Let me get it.
No. Curry. Too short, too slow.
Did I say that? I wouldn't call
With
you
luck,
that.
maybe a career in Turkey.
You know, Turkey's pretty competitive right now.
ESPN, your NBA destination for games Wednesdays and Fridays.
Welcome back to the Mazda Halftime Report. I'm Andy Katz along with Seth Greenberg, and we've got some bubblicious games on Wednesday. Let's start in the Big Ten. Nebraska, which has played its way onto the bubble, now goes to Indiana, a Hoosier team that beat Ohio State on Sunday without Noah Vanley. And Indiana head coach Tom Crean telling me on Monday he doesn't know when he's coming back, if he's coming back for this game. What do you think Nebraska has to do to go into Assembly Hall and get a huge victory?
This is a huge game for both basketball teams. Nebraska was extremely hot a week ago. They've been cooled off a little bit. Right now, you talk about Nebraska. I want to talk about Indiana because a week ago I thought they had no chance. But now when you start to look at this Indiana team, they need to protect home court. They've got wins over Iowa and Michigan and Wisconsin and Ohio State. Those are 4 wins against the field. How many teams have 4 wins against the field? They really don't have much to show for their non-conference. This game will come down to defending on the perimeter. In Nebraska, they've got 2 guys on the perimeter, actually 3 guys on the perimeter that can make plays. Teron Petway, he's got to see a big basket. He's got to be the Teron Petway that played against Michigan State, coming off those high ball screens, shot ready, getting out in transition. They got to get something out of Pitchford. Those 2 guys single-handedly can keep them in the game. And for Indiana, I really like the way Indiana's playing, and the difference is Will Sheehy. Will Sheehy's been aggressive the last few games. He's getting out in transition. He's getting to the offensive glass. He's attacking the defense off the bounce. This Indiana team is probably playing their best basketball, and they've got the most to play for. They need to defend home court.
Because after this game, they're at Michigan on Sunday. And you make a great point because Nebraska didn't do anything in the non-conference either. So both these schools trying to make their case within the Big Ten. Certainly be an interesting call for the selection committee depending upon what happens in this game. All right, let's go down to the SEC where Tennessee is at Auburn. Auburn, which has been a little bit all over the map. They almost beat Florida on the road 2 weeks ago. And Tennessee on the bubble. I mean, they cannot afford to lose another game to a team below them. So how do the Vols get it done down in Alabama?
And Auburn's played everyone tough. Auburn actually, Tony Barbie's done a very good job with his basketball team. But how do they need to get it done? It starts with Jordan McRae. Jordan McRae's got to get out in transition, attack. He's got to have good shot discipline. And then up front, Jarnell Stokes, he's got to dominate the game. The way Tennessee wins is they get to the glass. They're +8 rebounding the basketball. They got to dominate inside the paint, whether it's Mayman, whether it's Stokes. They got to make sure those guys get touches. And then on the perimeter, they got to take care of the basketball. When Tennessee gets good guard play, Tennessee's a very good basketball team. They're going to defend, they're going to rebound, but they need to take care of the ball.
Yeah, got to be consistent. They dominated Vanderbilt over the weekend, now at Auburn. All right, let's stay in the SEC. A lot of bubble there to discuss. And Ole Miss is at Arkansas. A couple of weeks ago, you could make the case that Ole Miss had a chance. They didn't beat Florida. They got swept by Kentucky. Meanwhile, Arkansas sweeps Kentucky. The first time Arkansas, by the way, beat Kentucky, they lost their next 4 or 5. Now they've won 7 of 8, and they follow the Kentucky win with a win over Georgia. What do you think of the Hogs now?
And that's a good win against Georgia because Mark Fox has done as good a job with his basketball team. They're hard to beat because they don't beat themselves. They run great offense. I really like this Arkansas team, especially when they're taking care of the basketball. They turn you over 17 times a game, but at times they can get careless with the ball. They're extremely athletic. Michael Quarles is tough to match up with. He's explosive off the bounce, and then Bobby Portis gives him a low post scorer, a physical presence up front. They've gotten better as the season's gone along, but they must take care of the basketball. They sometimes invent turnovers. Make the simple play. make good decisions, be disciplined offensively, and then again defensively, get after people, turn them over so you can get out in transition and score easy baskets.
Arkansas head coach Mike Anderson telling me that the seniors and the experienced players on this team have finally bought into the sense of urgency that they needed for Arkansas to win games here late in the season. All right, let's finish up out in the Pac-12. Colorado at Stanford. Stanford has a better overall resume. Maybe you can make that argument with that win at Connecticut. Colorado has the win over Kansas, but that was with Spencer Dinwiddie. Now Colorado, you can make the case, after getting blown out by Utah, is more on the bubble than Stanford. How do you size up this matchup?
If I'm Colorado, I'm concerned. I think what their only win in recent weeks is USC, a team that has yet to even show in the Pac-12. So they need a quality win. They need a win to tell people, you know what, we don't have Spencer Dinwiddie, but we have Josh Scott. We have Xavier Johnson. We've got Ski Booker. We can win games without Spencer Dinwiddie, especially because they've really struggled of late. And this game's going to come down to Ski Booker making good decisions, playing through Josh Scott. Xavier Johnson attacking people off the bounce. They've got to be solid defensively. They've got to try to make this game in the 60s where they can take care of the ball, pound it in through Josh Scott, and control the tempo of the game. But they need a quality win much more than Stanford.
I totally agree, because Colorado beat Arizona State, and then they got hammered at home by Arizona and lost badly at Utah. They finished the season here at Stanford.
Man, that's a team that all of a sudden is playing their way into the discussion on the bubble, where Colorado might now be playing their way out of the discussion. Arizona this past week really helped themselves.
And Colorado and Utah on this same road swing where they're both going to the Bay Area. Utah will be at Cal, then Stanford. Colorado at Stanford, then at Cal. All right, that'll wrap up this Mazda Halftime Report. For Seth Greenberg, I'm Andy Katz. Enjoy the second half.
In that first half, scoring in a variety of fashion.
And a look at our Hyundai.
Basketball is being brought to you by Toyota, official corporate champion of the ACC. By Hardee's. By Geico, official corporate champion of the ACC. And by BB&T, official bank of the ACC. Member FDIC.
An absolute joy to have you with us from Clemson, and a joy for me to be sitting alongside Mike Jaminski tonight from Clemson, 27 all. And G-Man, you talked about the power of the inside game from Miami tonight. This says it all.
How about that? It's 11 of 15 inside, but 2 of 10 from the 3 and in the mid-range game. So that completely out there. And then Clemson, a little bit of the same. Nothing really 1 3-point or 5 of 7 from inside, but a better mid-range game there and more productivity.
Canes ball as we begin the second half.
The thing that struck me in that first, I was talking about Clemson, they used 11 guys, Bob. I mean, a lot of those guys sparingly, still some heavy minutes for the starters, but Brad Brownell trying to go to his bench.
And a great block by Noko, denying Swope's dunk attempt. Harrison at the other end.
And you could see DeMarcus Harrison was looking around that time he was going in for dunk. He didn't want to get whacked again, but a good finish and a good start defensively for the Tigers.
And the upset is complete at the Dome. Georgia Tech 67, Syracuse 62.
And I think that unless they win the tournament, that #1 seed not there right now. They just got knocked off the #1 line nationally.
29-27 Clemson here. Brown's pass beyond the reach of Jacari.
Well, how about Brian Gregory? Has he gotten a couple of late season wins?
Wow.
I mean, there's the block, and that's the first thing that triggers this fast break. Rod Hall making a great decision, good finish. But Gregory goes into the Miami Coral Gables last year at the end of the year and beat this Miami Hurricane team, who then had to beat Clemson to win the regular season title.
And that is the last time the Canes and Tigers have met. This pass by Hall deflected.
Not a good decision right there. Too many hands around.
Adams dumps it off. 3 no good by LeCompte. And Canes get it back.
And McDaniels just gave up. There was nobody on the perimeter. You have a 3-point shot. Chances are it's going to be a long rebound.
LeCompte to the goal. Loose ball picked up by the Tigers. Hall in transition. And LeCompte picks his pocket. Canes running, pushing. Adams. Noko board.
You know what a terrific play by LeCompte. He had the turnover in the one end, and then he chases Hall down from behind and gets it back. Doesn't give up on the play. That is not a freshman play. That's an upperclassman play.
Shot clock at 4. Harrison. High glass, no. Noko got a hand on it. Clemson with another possession.
Good hustle play by Noko. There were 4 black jerseys around him, and he came out with the ball.
McDaniels.
Tell you what, that's a good matchup defensively, I think, for Miami. Swope has got the strength to stay with McDaniels. He's been able to keep him in front, forced him into a tough shot.
Miami 0 for 4 from the field in the second half. They began the game hitting 9 of 12. Rising up, Brown in and out, drops in.
He needed that. He got off to a quick start, but it was kind of quiet at the end of that first half.
Hall. Last touched by the Canes. Closed captioning for ACC basketball is provided by Bojangles, famous chicken and biscuits. It's bow time. Adonis Feiler will come in. And Rod Hall goes out again.
Well, Hall played 19 minutes in the first half, so we're almost at that TV timeout. I think what Brad Brownell wants to do is get him maybe 10 or 15 seconds a break, and then maybe get him back into the game.
3 from the corner for Harrison. His second three tonight. Clemson 32-29.
He has been by far over this stretch their most reliable perimeter scorer.
Bajori is in now for the Canes. Ryan Brown draws a lot of defensive attention, does he not? Swope driving. And a travel. A timeout with 15:43 remaining in our game. DeMarcus Harrison finds the bottom of the sack to break the tie. Take a look at our Haviland defensive shield. It's a block party at Little John.
Well, it's amazing. I don't know that I've ever remembered a 6'6" guy leading the league in blocks, but McDaniels is incredible when it comes to that. And actually, Clemson leads the conference in blocks as well. Here we are. It's been the bigs inside. McDaniels on the man-to-man play at that right time, and he and Noko have been involved in a couple as well.
He's had 7 blocks in a game twice, 6 blocks in a game 3 times.
Yep. And then the thing that amazes me is you don't, like a 7'1" shot blocker, you know he's there, you see him. You don't see where he comes from. He just kind of comes out of nowhere and blocks. Right. Back to the diamond, or actually a triangle and 2 again with Harrison and McDaniels for Miami.
Shot clock under 10.
And then late in the clock, they'll go man.
Filer hits it. First bucket for the sophomore from Chicago.
He has not scored. That was his first basket in 2 games, 2+ games, 0 of 8. From the field and no points.
Ryan Brown taken away and a foul. Filer got him on the arm, says Terry Weimer.
Yeah, Filer he better watch out. Referees do not like that type of play, especially from a bench player.
Jim Larenega's Canes have dropped behind by 5.
The first foul. I mean, you talked about the first half. That was the first foul of the second half.
And on the out-of-bounds play, LeCompte gets a lay-in. Oh, that's a defensive breakdown. 34-31.
especially we just talked about the defensive shield and all the shot blockers that there are for Clemson. The smallest guy on the floor walks in for a layup.
KJ. 10 points for McDaniels.
First points of the second half, and he just had that look in his eye like I need to get involved in the offense. He's too good getting to that right hand.
Now the Canes want to get their guy going. And Ryan Brown belly down on the hardwood. Foul charged to Harrison.
There's the look, and that's a nice rub that time by Noko. Gave him just enough room to get in.
The art of setting the screen.
Well, it's that, and there's two sides of that. There's the art of setting the screen, and there's the art of using the screen. You can't go too quickly. You've got to let that guy get his position and then use him.
Closed captioning for ACC basketball is provided by Bojangles, famous chicken and biscuits. It's bow time, and it might just be bow time after the game on the drive home.
I was going to think at FanFest, it's going to be Scotty McCurry there with, I'm sure he'll have a few biscuits before he hits the stage.
For the Tigers, Jate comes in.
Well, that was actually, remember that Rod Hall went out about the 16-20 mark, so 2.5 minutes of game action plus a little bit more with the timeout. I would imagine you'd see him the rest of the way.
You know, we talked about the minutes, Mike. Hall played 43 against Maryland in the double overtime. Noko 46, Lawson game 40, McDaniels 48, a career high.
They're young. Get over it. Have an extra Gatorade. And they really didn't do that much in practice yesterday either.
Filer for three. Oh boy, here's a precinct heard from. My goodness. Adonis Filer, who has missed 17 of his last 19 threes, buries a big one, and Clemson goes up 7.
Now there's a second guy that you've got out on the floor along with Harrison that you have to pay attention to on the perimeter.
And that's a sure antidote for the junk defense. Adams thought about it. Good close by Harrison. Now on the baseline. Swope gets in and scores. Dogged determination from the senior.
I'm really impressed with how he has improved his finish inside.
He's in double figures for a 4th consecutive game. 5-point lead. Tigers with the basketball. And foul coming on the drive.
He takes on some size inside, and it's a lot of body strength.
In his career against Clemson, 3 games, grand total of 2 points. Swope has 10 tonight. Harrison. And here's Filer. He played only 11 minutes, didn't scratch against the Terps. He has given Clemson a huge lift in the second half. McDaniels had his feet set. Back iron, tapped out, but right to Jade, and it's going to be Clemson ball. Well, grab it if you can.
Yeah, they're getting the 50-50 balls right now, Clemson. Outworking them on the offensive glass.
Harrison, corner 3. Now the Canes come down the floor trailing 5.
Bob and Miami very fortunate they didn't give up points. There were 4 different shots on that possession.
Adams. He has shown a great proclivity to drive the basketball tonight. Works off a screen. Clemson keeps him out of the lane, and they throw it away. Timeout. 11:25 to go. The 5th Miami turnover. Clemson the lead in the ball when we come back. You are watching the ACC Network, an exclusive production of Raycom Sports. The 2014 ACC Legends will be honored at this year's basketball tournaments in Greensboro. The Women's Legends Lunch will be coming up on Saturday. The Men's Legends Brunch, Saturday, March 15th. For tickets and more information on this year's Legends, visit theacc.com and search Legends. And for the Clemson Tigers, Tree Rollins will be their legend in Greensboro this year. Somehow, some way, got that shot over the outstretched fingertips of Nick Jaminski.
I got a piece of it. If it was filming, you'd see it fell short.
I'm sure. Air ball.
My freshman year, battled him, and he had a triple-double on me down here. Sent about 7 of my shots into the rafters.
And you got a good look at him in the NBA, too.
And he didn't get any shorter when he left Clemson.
Beautiful drive by Ron Hall. 39, 41, 34. 11 minutes remaining.
A big lead in a game like this.
Adams. Contact, men in the lane. And the ball will belong to Miami.
Timeout. Brad Brownell going a little bit bigger, getting Noko and Jumbo back onto the floor together.
Lecompte for Miami, in for Darius Adams.
We hadn't heard anything from Donovan Kirk in this game, an 8-point score.
And Ryan Brown has been relatively quiet with only 6. Lecompte with the left hand this time. Shooting much better on the road than home this year. And some moxie to his game for the first-year player. 10:25 remaining.
Let's see if Miami can make some inroads with McDaniels on the bench, getting a little bit of a rest here for the home stretch.
Jumbo hits a 3. his 8th of the year.
Yeah, as I say, those are the scouting report ones. He's shooting 20% on the season. Jim Larrañaga wants a timeout.
It comes at 9:59. A Clemson Tiger team not known for its threes gets a huge one here from Jumbo. Timeout at Little John. Game summary. Miami with 1-3. Clemson just hit its 4th. Miami's had great success on the inside and a double-figure scoring night for Eric Swope, validating his 15 at NC State over the weekend. We talked about Tree Rollins, and one of the greatest shot blockers in ACC history. He's the all-time leader here for the Clemson Tigers, and a program, really, Mike, that has developed so many great big men. Wayne Tree Rollins stands the tallest.
No question, and it's underrated about rebounding. Averaged 12 rebounds a game. And Sharon Wright, another prominent big in Clemson history.
Played in the mid-90s, is 3rd on the all-time block shot list here. Elvin Campbell, number 2.
Think about it, though, Bob, that 37 years have gone by. Tree Rollins still 3rd all-time in the ACC in blocks. Only behind Tim Duncan 1st, Ralph Sampson 2nd.
And the all-time leading rebounder in Clemson history. A key miss out of a timeout for the Canes.
There have been 9. We talked fouls. 9 total.
That's incredible.
Team fouls.
In a season,
both teams.
In a season where all we've talked about is how many fouls are being called. Hall splits the double. Shot clock at 8. This one is short. Ayajukwa. 9 to play. Big possession here for the Canes.
We talked about an 8-point lead in this environment against these two. This very good defensive team, a big lead.
James Kelly getting his first playing time since the suspension. He'll shoot it and hit it.
Big shot with the shot clock winding down as well. Jim Larrañaga just trying to find some offensive firepower out there.
44-38. Jumbo, Ajukwa. Rod Hall sets it. Noko On the inside, trying to get position. As Filer misses. And there's Noko coming up with that basketball. Jumbo. Boy, 2 players go down and not a whistle. Here's Ryan Brown. Outside look for Reed. And it's out to Clemson. 7:51 to play in the ball game. A timeout, and we'll return after these messages from your local ACC station. Revisit our AT&T Fast Analysis.
Well, we talked about how they would score against this very good defense. They've gotten inside, gotten some layups against the zone. You know, they've gotten a good look. McDaniels has been solid in this game. Not his usual, eye-popping offensive game, 5 of 9 shooting, 10 points. But they've had other guys step up. DeMarcus Harrison, especially with a couple of his threes. And they've gotten a couple of other unexpected threes off the bench as well, which has helped.
C.J. Spiller, the former Tiger great, now in the NFL with Buffalo. And I didn't know he had such a good arm.
The upper deck.
Jim Larinaga is concerned. He'd like to get a few touchdowns here. 44-38. Canes down 6.
Wow, consider they had 19 at the 10-minute mark in the first half. They've scored 19 points since.
Blossom game. Filer. Short clock for McDaniels. Squared up, beauty.
That's the thing. I think that, again, talk about what else you can do. I think he can work on his low box game, and depending on the matchup, if he gets a smaller player, he can just elevate and play over the top of guys.
That was a solid move right there.
Yep, absolutely.
46-38. After starting 9 for 12, the Canes are 9 for 24 from the field.
And if you're not getting offensive rebounds and not getting to the free throw line, it puts a lot of pressure on your defense.
7. 6 to shoot.
Just a lot of standing around.
Ryan Brown gets it up and gets it in.
Well, he bailed them out on a tough possession.
Up to 11 for the night. .622 and ticking down. Clemson in control, leading by 6. Here's McDaniels. Nice pass, no go. Can't finish. Jam follow, no for McDaniels, and the Canes come away. Big possession here. 6-minute mark. Reed just offline, but a loose ball belongs to Miami. Kelly, no tip, no rebound to Noko.
A couple of big missed opportunities.
Filer, count it. Well, you look back, Mike Jaminski, over this young man's season, and not a great deal of offense in total, but some of the clutch shots he's hit along the way against Virginia Tech and Boston College. And what a second half lift he has given Clemson.
Yeah, doing it defensively as well. He hasn't been playing a lot of time. Most of that's been going to Harrison, and Hall has not been off the floor. But Brad Brownell going to him maybe out of necessity with that quick turnaround after the double overtime game against Maryland on Sunday.
8 points all in the second half for Adonis Filer, and Clemson leads it by 9. And what a key swing. The two the Canes don't get, the 3 that Clemson does. Now Miami takes a timeout. 5:28 remaining and a full timeout for the Canes. The official ACC mobile app presented by Outback Steakhouse offers live ACC network games, videos, scores, stats, and news. Visit acc.com/apps to download. And be sure to check out the basketball championship pages where you can enter to win Outback dinner packages for a year. That certainly has drawn the attention of Mike Jaminski. 2 lucky fans will be awarded today. So download the app and enter now.
Well, it could be a big swing because if Clemson wins and goes 10-7, Pitt has to come here to play, so they could flip-flop positions. A lot can go on in the middle of that pack. Miami trying to play so they don't have to play on the first day of the tournament.
And Clemson wins this one. They beat Pitt. They'll get 5th. They'll own the tiebreaker over the Panthers. Big week of basketball. We've already seen a huge upset tonight with Georgia Tech going in to the Carrier Dome. The final weekend, Pitt coming here to take on KJ McDaniels and the Clemson Tigers. That's at 4 p.m. Eastern time. And then on Sunday at 2, Syracuse now has to go to Tallahassee, having lost 4 of their last 5. For more information on how you can watch the ACC games on TV and online, on the official ACC mobile app or at theacc.com. Lamar Patterson.
Well, certainly I think at the beginning of the year was talked about as a first-team performer for Pitt, and as it's played out, 17 points a game, very good from three-point, can make plays. I think he's probably still in the conversation.
Clemson fans will have a chance to see a new team come into Little John this weekend when Pitt makes its ACC debut in this building. 5:28 remaining. And Jim Laranaga's Canes are up against it now, trailing 9 with 5 minutes and 20 seconds left.
A different amount of runs. I think Ryan Brown is going to have to be the guy who sparks it.
Gets a look from 3 and buries it. Right on cue, Ryan Brown.
Yeah, he's been too quiet. They need him to step up and take charge of this game.
Huge 3 for Miami, cuts it to 6. That is the first Miami three-pointer of the second half. Clemson, of course, content to work that clock. McDaniels. Now the plot thickens if the Canes can hit one. Adams, a lot of contact. All the way through goes Eric Swope.
Yeah, he's been solid for them offensively. Where would Miami be without him?
Canes cut it to 4. McDaniels in trouble, and we got a push. They spot the foul. on Darius Adams, number 1.
There's that play, and he did well just to bail his team out that time, almost a turnover on some travel. But you look at both of these teams, Clemson has to foul 5 more times to get into the penalty. Miami 4 more.
And we got a foul called on Jakiri. And that did not.
There can't be anybody near too close to foul trouble.
Yeah, non-existent. But that's Jakiri's 3rd. Here's McDaniels.
Darius Adams just in an all-out denial. Rod Hall trying to keep the ball out of his hands, let somebody else make a play. But Filer's been really strong in the second half.
Filer getting chased all over town, loses it off the dribble. And now Filer is hurting.
Hamstring, it looks like, either that or a cramp.
So an official's timeout comes at 3:48. And we will take this timeout on the ACC Network. You're looking at Adonis Filer as he ever so gingerly left the floor just moments ago. That left apparent hamstring. You'll see him as he turns the corner, Mike, lose the dribble as that hamstring grabbed him right there.
Yeah, I can't, you can't, it's tough to tell if it was a pull or a cramp. But definitely, it was just he was doing too much off the dribble in that possession, and it caught up with him. But you just hate to see it. He was playing so well in the second half. 8 points.
And 6 assists for the game. Now the Canes will put themselves in a position and they can make this a one-possession game. Ryan Brown missed the 3. And the rebound comes to Blossom Game.
Well, and the irony is, too, that this historically free throw shooting such a weak point for this Clemson team, now a strength, one of the best in the conference. So they have a little more confidence in the end game situation.
Rod Hall head down driving. Double figures for the 4th time in 5 games. 10 for Rod.
Loves to get to that right hand.
And Miami will take another timeout with 2:55.
Again, it's just a little bit of a brush screen and a little mix-up, miscommunication. I think in those two, you've got to switch that a little bit. But Ja'Carry a little reluctant to go up for the block. We did get notice that Filer out with that hamstring.
The ACC Women's Tournament starts tomorrow. Greensboro Coliseum will again be the host site. You can watch all 15 ACC teams participate in the 5-day tournament for just $99. For a list of the matchups and to get information on purchasing tickets, visit theacc.com. 5 ACC teams are in the top 15 in the latest poll, led by Notre Dame at number 2 in the country. Duke is number 7, and here's the first-round matchups for Greensboro tomorrow. It kicks at 1 Eastern with Virginia Tech and Clemson. Then the Cavs, BC, Wake, and Pitt at 6:30. 2:55 remaining. And another possession for Brad Brownell's defense here to keep this lead. Clemson's up 6. 3-pointer. And Brown can't connect. Ryan has struggled overall from the outside. He's now 1 of 5 on his threes.
Kelly coming in with comped out, and Jim Larrañaga wants to get a little bit more size out on that perimeter defense.
Harrison doubles. Oh, a near steal by Brown, and he fouls Rod Hall. Second on Ryan. 5 team fouls on Miami, to your point.
If you're gonna pick somebody out on the floor for Clemson, Noko is the guy at 54%.
Ball down the lane. And a 4th foul on Ja'Carry.
This is what Rod Hall does. I mean, it's just his game, trying to get inside, make plays for himself, make plays for his teammates. You touched on it, 6 assists for him, a little uncharacteristic, 3 turnovers. That's right around a little below his assist to turnover ratio.
2 for 2 at the line, make it 2 for 3.
You got him.
Never. Hall, in the 2 overtimes, scored 10 of his 16 Sunday here against Maryland. Now looking for his 11th point against Miami to push Clemson up 7.
It's still going to be so odd next year, Bob, to think that Maryland is not going to be a part of the ACC.
I hate to think of that.
As we touched about that 74 tournament game.
Absolutely. Lefty. Gary. 52-45. Adams. Oh, missed the shot. Would have been an and 1.
Yeah, those are the type of 3-point plays that you have to get in this situation. And if he could have converted and stopped the clock, only the 5th team foul in the game.
Yeah, not the second half. The game. 2 free throws for Garius Adams.
So, at least going forward, Miami's going to be able to stop the clock with fouls.
Key miss for a guy who's been getting to the line a ton this year. Timeout Clemson. 1:49 left in the second half. 52-45. Well, we talked about these guys that have come into this game after monumental efforts over the weekend. KJ McDaniels has scored 12 tonight, had a big dunk in the first half. Ryan Brown has responded with 15 tonight for Miami on 6 of 14 shooting.
Yeah, I was going to say, Bob, I mean, that's, you know, he's going to get his points. But if you can make him a high-volume shooter, now I think if he goes 6 for 8 and gets his average, then you haven't done your job. But at 6 for 14, I think you live with those percentages.
Yeah, it's one of the aspects of NC State's T.J. Warren that really hasn't, obviously people have talked about his points, but it's his efficiency with which he scores, which is so remarkable.
Leads the conference in field goal percentage, you know, which you don't rarely see. I mean, you normally, a big-time scorer like Eric Green for Virginia Tech last year, or, you know, we talked about Allen Iverson, and, you know, those guys had to take a lot of shots to get their points, and it were shots that other people weren't getting to take.
Second free throw coming for Garius Adams. Hit big shots late Saturday in Raleigh, but goes 0 for 2 at the line, and the Canes are 1 of 7 at the stripe.
In a 7-point game, that is significant.
Off the foot of Ron Hall, picked up by Brown. McDaniels with a push, and it's an and one.
And that is a bad foul by KJ McDaniels. I mean, you either make sure he doesn't get 2 points, and this is one of the second or third unforced errors for Rod Hall, which is atypical. This could be a big swing in this game.
Yeah, this free throw, if good, will keep hope alive for the Canes.
Miami only 1 timeout left.
.90 seconds, all that's left. 52-47. Now Rod Hall brings it up against the freshman Lecomte. The next Miami foul, if non-shooting, will be a 1-1. Back up to Hall. 14, 13, 12 on the shot clock, and Hall at mid-floor. Can't get around Brown, he fouls him. Ryan. Foul number 3, and Hall to the stripe. Now the pressure intensifies. A 4-point game, and a 1-1 for Rod Hall.
6 or 7 before this, and this is the key one, the front one. You've got to convert on the front end of that one-on-one.
Point number 12. Five-point game, 65 seconds. The junior from Augusta, Georgia, hits them both.
Right, you got to cover Lecomte and Brown out on the 3-point line and defend without fouling.
Kelly gets it open 3. Rebound Swope. Good. 4-point game. 53 seconds. And that's Noko getting fouled. Put him on the line.
Talk about funneling it to the right guy underneath out of bounds to get the ball. We talked about it. Noko 54%, the shakiest of the Clemson free throw shooters.
And a timeout has been taken by Clemson. 52.4 left. It's the Clemson Tigers 54, the Miami Hurricanes 50.
ACC basketball is being brought to you by Food Lion, official supermarket of the ACC. By Geico, official corporate champion of the ACC. By BB&T, official bank of the ACC, member FDIC. By Toyota, official corporate champion of the ACC. And by AT&T, official wireless provider of the ACC.
With Mike Javensky and the great men and women of Raycom Sports from Clemson. Bob Rathman with you. 54-50 Tigers. 52.4 on the clock, and Noko steps up for a big 1-1.
That's the key thing. If you're for Miami, you got Kelly inside, you got Swope inside. They've got to block out on this first free throw.
54%er at the stripe. Ryan Brown to claim it.
You don't need the three right now. Just something quick hitting.
On the drive, a rejection by Noko. Now the Tigers try to play keep away. Harrison fouled by LeCompte. Well, Noko atoned for the sin of missing the front end.
Yeah, really say this again. Credit them forcing him left. And plenty of help inside and a good recovery. I love it. You make the block to keep it in play. Clemson comes up with it.
And now DeMarcus Harrison. And that's no good, but Clemson gets it. Blossom game. Noko couldn't get to him quick enough. Now Hall is fouled.
Wow. We talked about it. You know, they closed out on the first deal, but that was a huge offensive rebound, a big mistake inside for the Hurricanes.
Now the double bonus. 2 free throws for Rod Hall. Ryan Brown now with 4 fouls, 28.7 remaining. And the Tigers can take a 6-point lead. Missed it. Basket here makes things interesting. It's Kelly from the baseline. Foul with 18.1. It is not for lack of opportunity for Miami. Swope's first foul. Canes will burn a timeout here. Their last one of the evening with 18.1 seconds. The saddest words of tongue and pen. What might have been. Jim Larinaga. They've had every opportunity here down the stretch.
Right, you can't go on the road and shoot 2 of 8 from the free throw line. I mean, that's first, and that's, you know, in a 5-point game, you're not going to make every one of them, but still, maybe the outcome different.
A 55-50 lead for the Tigers, and free throws to come with 18.1. Clemson has a shot at a 20-win regular season if they can beat Pitt here this weekend and secure the victory here in the final 18 seconds as Blossom game goes to the line.
Yeah, it's that strength of schedule that's going to hold them back a little bit. That's why I think there's some work to do in the tournament, but certainly finishing out strong. They do have that great win against Duke here, their only win against a top 50 team.
But what a job by Brad Brownell. Just the turnaround from last year. Remarkable.
Yep. And you know, first Clemson coach in history, 8 ACC wins in 3 of his first 4 years.
56-50. And LeCompte is fouled. And of course, Clemson, that's just their 15th foul. So the Canes will take it out of bounds. Darius Adams to get it in just in front of us. Here's LeCompte. Fouled again. And it really is a good percentage play. You don't have to worry about him shooting a 3, although I guess there is some danger involved, but Clemson doing the smart thing here and making Miami take it out of bounds.
Yeah, they have to run that play rather than one that's been drawn up.
Now Brown gets to the hole and flips it in. 56-52.
Yeah, I mean, they're just defending the 3-point line. They're going to give up a layup.
It'll be Harrison to the other end. .5. The time remaining. This will give Clemson 4 wins in 5 games since that 3-game losing streak, raised their record to 10-7 in the ACC.
And give them some credit. I was there up in Winston, and that was a tough loss against Wake Forest for this Clemson team. But they've shown a lot of resolve in bouncing back. That double overtime win against Maryland, and then to come back on a short turnover and get another win.
Picked 14th in the preseason. They've got a shot to finish 5th. Brown will lay it in at the buzzer, count the basket, and Clemson has the victory. Brad Brownell shakes the hand of Jim Larinaga, and for the 4th time in Clemson history, they've won 10 ACC games. The Clemson Tigers hold off Miami. They win it by 4. The final score tonight, Clemson 58 and Miami 54. For Mike Jemensky and our entire Raycom Sports crew, this is Bob Rathman thanking you for joining us. Make sure you check out the games this weekend. So long from Clemson.